friends, welcome back to Nowhere Bound. It's your camping buddy Mike here with a very special episode. We are headed to the little steel town of Steubenville, Ohio. That was my hometown for nearly 30 years, and I got to go up there for a job today, but tonight we're going to be camping out at a very special place. More on that later. The road we're traveling on is called the Ohio River Scenic Byway. It's Ohio State Route 7. This highway snakes along the Ohio River the whole entire way, and you get a lot of nice views of the river. It takes you through little tiny towns. There's also a lot of coal-fired power plants. I think we're going to pass about 5 or 6 of them today. This part of the country is also known as the Rust Belt because of the steel industry that was very prominent in the area for decades. I've traveled this highway many times over the years, and this rest area is a regular stop. The Ohio River's right there. It's sitting at 32 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and I do consider this to be mild camping weather. But tonight it'll dip down into the high 20s, and it's gonna get a little chilly. So I brought the diesel heater, and we're gonna break into winter camping mode for the first time this season. I'm pretty excited about it. Just cruising along here, and we are getting 16.3 miles per gallon. That's one of the great things about the Teardrop camper compared to other rigs. You can't beat the gas mileage. If you didn't already know, I am a semi-retired music producer and recording engineer. I used to own a recording studio here in Steubenville, Ohio, and I sold it not because business was hurting. In fact, I sold it at the end of my busiest year ever. It was mainly because I got burnt out. I met my wife, and I had a buyer for my building. The stars in the universe had aligned, and it was time for me to let the building go. But I still have a studio set up in my home where I do mixing work mostly, and occasionally I'll work with bands at other studios. And today I'm renting out time at another studio here in Steubenville. Coincidentally, it's just a couple of blocks away from where my studio used to be. This will be the first time I've recorded a band in a studio in about 2 years, and I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm also glad it's just for one day, and we're only doing one song today. I'm working with a pop punk band from Wheeling. They're called Splash Panel.
My car is junk. I hope it survives. $4 a gallon, but it's worth it just to see you smile. Do you need anything while we're stopping?
All right, that was a lot of fun today, but I only have about 45 minutes before it's dark now, and I think I'm going to be setting up camp in the dark. I know one thing, we got to make like a tree and get out of here.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Good girl. It is 32 degrees, temperature's dropping, and it's not a comfortable cold. It's kind of a damp, bone-chilling cold right now. At least it's not windy, but we just got to camp. I just finished working all day and now I got some work to do. This is the time when I'm missing having a camper van or something bigger. But only one thing to do, and that's to do it. Oh man, that's going to be a problem. Oh man, this is all freezing and it's ice. I'm gonna have to be really careful here. It's okay, girl. It's just a bottle of fire. We'll be all right. Now we're camping. There's only one other person in this campground, and it looks like a person just in their car to sleep overnight. Nothing shady. Other than that, this place is empty, and this fire is actually quite comfortable if I'm standing in the direction of the breeze, and it's blowing right towards me right now, just a light breeze, and all this heat is just surrounding me, and it's actually pretty darn nice. It's legit cold right now. I know 32 degrees on paper doesn't sound super cold, but it's very damp outside. There's a little bit of a breeze, like I mentioned, and I'm not wearing the correct shoes for this environment. I'm still basically in my old man studio work shoes, and it'll probably stay that way because I'm lazy today. Definitely feeling the long day right now, so I'm just taking a little break here to enjoy this. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, this place is pretty special to me. My life actually changed here in this spot, and I'll tell you all about it in a little while. I might have to bring this out more often, especially in the winter. One obvious benefit of having this fire pit is there's no smoke, no ash, none of that stuff. I can control it, can have it really close to the back of the camper. It's a good, convenient way to enjoy a fire at camp, I will say. You would think it was 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but it's only 5:45. That's one of the things I hate the most about wintertime. The days are very short. Oops, I have this backwards. This is my first setup of the diesel heater this season, and I came up with this little system to mount it to the window using the existing struts on this window. I just made an insulated board that hangs here perfectly. So just like that, we're basically set up. I also have this hose, which actually is insulated in a way, sort of. It's double layered. It's a nice 4-inch heavy duty hose. You know, it's HVAC grade. And one side just slips over the vent, just like that. It's nice and tight. I've got a new headlamp that's as bright as the sun. I love it. You can really see my breath. It's getting frosty. This diesel heater is going to be so nice tonight. Let's get this thing fired up for Juniper. Yeah, you're pretty cold in here. Current temperature inside the camper is 33 degrees. So the diesel heater is going to run off of the house battery. I plug it in here into the bulkhead, and there it is.
Start heating.
All right, diesel heater is firing up, and I know some of you will be curious about this. So you can see it's currently drawing 11 amps, and that's because the glow plugs are on. That's going to significantly drop once the ignition process begins, and it should only burn about 20 to 30 watts overnight. We're starting out with 116 amp hours remaining in the battery, and then tomorrow when we're finishing up, I'll take a look at that remaining energy again, and we'll see how much we used overnight. Yeah, it's winter, and tonight we're glamping. I'm too old to rough it. I have no desire anymore. We're gonna let Juniper rest. I gotta get it situated in there. I haven't touched the camper since the last trip. With all of the fossil fuels burning all around us tonight, keeping us warm, I decided to play it safe, and I got a CO2 detector. It's gonna go right here on the bulkhead. That's where my head lays down when I'm sleeping. I think that these are carbon monoxide alarms as well as smoke alarms, already pre-installed from the factory, but I got another one. Redundancy. Well, I've been sitting in here just trying to warm up a little bit. It's definitely chilly outside and my toes are frozen. I brought a really nice pair of puffy winter socks. They are the best socks. I know I had them in here somewhere and I can't find them now. Juniper might be laying on them. I don't have the heart to move her. So I hunted around and I did find some of these toe warmers, and I'm gonna put them on. You know, this whole deal was kind of a last minute thing. I was really excited about coming up to work in the area and then come to this campsite to kind of celebrate, and we do have reason to celebrate tonight. I promise I'm going to get to that. Actually, before I put these toe warmers on, I'm going to let my feet marinate in this diesel air. Dry off my socks a little bit. I got that vent pointing right down at my feet. Oh man, this is really nice. Those toe warmers really did the trick. And by the way, it's 61 in the camper right now. I'm going to set up a thermometer outside just to monitor. What's crazy is the inside of the refrigerator feels warmer than it does outside right now. It's funny when that happens. So I've got kielbasa, pierogies, peppers, jalapenos, onions, and some butter. And I'll put a little olive oil in there as well. And it's going in a foil packet. Olive oil's not happening because it's frozen. So we'll try some spray on oil. I can't wait to eat. I'm so hungry. And I think that's going to be good. So I'm experimenting with my fan pointed in my direction, and it's serving a couple of purposes. First of all, it's blowing the heat from the fire pit towards me, and some of it's reflecting off of the clamshell back here. And it's actually kind of cozy. And I think it's also helping to control the heat around my tinfoil packet because it's pretty intense. I can tell there's an art to cooking this way over propane fire pit. This is my first attempt. Based on the smell of the burning, I don't know how good it's going to go. I'm going to eat it anyway, no matter what, even if it's charcoal. I'm trying to turn it often. All right, the tinfoil packet smells like cooked food to me, so I'm too hungry to wait any longer. Maybe I should have cooked it in the cast iron instead. Anyway, in you go. Would you look at that? That looks perfect. Put some paprika on there. Oh, that smells so good. I don't think we'll need any salt. I'll put about some black pepper. And we'll do some salt, what the heck. What else do we have here? Garlic? Sure, why not? A little garlic salt. Look at how good that is. Oh yes, now this is winter camping. Not bad. Jalapeno pepper on this one. I really like these kind of recipes where you just kind of throw together random stuff. When you combine peppers and onions with some kind of meat and potatoes, it's generally going to be pretty good. Oh, this fan is just blowing this warm air. It doesn't even feel cold right now. I'm so comfortable out here. This is a good trick, and I'm going to utilize it often this winter. Well, it's 31 degrees outside, and in here, this thermometer says 62, but it feels warmer than that. because I had the doors open a little bit. It might have reduced that number, but it is so comfortable, and I gotta say, it is so satisfying being out here with this little setup using such a minuscule amount of energy. And we are cozy and comfortable, gonna sleep in our own bed. So I could have stayed at a hotel tonight. It was a long day, 2.5 hour drive home. Do I get a hotel or do I do this? So let's look at the numbers. A hotel would have been about $120, $125 minimum for a decent hotel. Compare that to the extra fuel that I used to pull the camper. It only reduced the gas mileage by about 3 miles a gallon. So, doing the math quickly in my head, I probably used 3 extra gallons round trip total. So $9 in extra gas plus the cost of diesel fuel. I might burn like 2/3 of a gallon of diesel overnight, if that. So let's just say $3 there. We're up to 12. I mean, I think it was worth it. We're gonna sleep in our own bed. I was able to bring the dog with me, which is huge. It's not easy to get a hotel room, a nice one anyway, when you have your dog with you. That was a very satisfying little meal out there. It was just the right amount of food. I was pretty hungry, and now I'm not. So mission accomplished. It is warm in here. It is so comfortable. 64 degrees currently, and it's running at 20%. So what I'll do is, if it gets too warm in here, too stuffy, I'll just open the ceiling vent, crack it, and I'll use that to regulate the temperature. So just to explain a little bit about how the diesel heater works, because I've been asked if it has a thermostat, and yes, it does. You are able to run it on a thermostat and have it heat automatically for you to maintain a temperature. However, every time it starts and stops, it needs to ignite the glow plug, which increases the power drain on the battery. It's not a significant amount. I guess it depends on how much it's turning on and off, but I think it's just easier to maintain a constant flow of heat coming in. It really keeps it warm in here, and this is my thermostat right here. If I want it a little cooler, I just open this a little bit higher. If it gets too cool, I just close it. In a little while, I'm going to have to turn the heater down to 10%, level 1 out of 10. So it's just going to be trickling diesel fuel, barely any. And because this is such a small enclosed space, I don't need a lot of energy to keep it comfortable. And the other nice thing about the diesel heater is that there's not going to be any condensation on the walls whatsoever. Nothing under the mattress either, and it's a nice way to keep it nice and dry, and you don't have to worry about mold issues or any of that stuff. Prior to using a diesel heater in this camper, I had a couple of misconceptions about it, and if you've never used a diesel heater, maybe you have the same thoughts on it as I did. Number one, and I've had this in the comments before, people wonder about the fumes and the smell and everything, and that's something that I thought too. I just kept thinking, I don't want to cart around diesel fuel and worry about spilling it and the smell and everything, and what about fumes? I don't want my stuff to smell like diesel. All that stuff is a myth, and to be honest, there's hardly any smell whatsoever. Really, the only smell is at the startup. There's a little bit of puff of smoke, and there's a little bit of that diesel smell, and then it dissipates. So it's not like these things are rolling coal or anything. There's very, very little smell or fumes or any of that stuff. According to my Bluetooth thermometer, it is 31.7 degrees outside. with a relative humidity of 82.1%. So it's pretty cold and humid out there. Not the most comfortable weather, but in here it's difficult for me to convey just how cozy it is. I also have pretty good cell service right now, which is a rare treat, so I've just been hanging out in here scrolling on my phone. It's close to midnight, so I think we're going to go to sleep, but in the morning I will show you a little bit more around this campsite. We got here late, so it was dark. I couldn't show you much, and I'll also tell you about why this place is so special for me. On that note, we're going to say goodnight. I'll see you in the morning. Juniper, good morning, puppy. What a cozy night of sleep. The diesel heater rocks. I slept amazingly well, 7 solid hours. Yeah, I had to turn on the ceiling fan to expel some of the heat in here. It was actually too warm, borderline uncomfortably warm. Okay, we can turn off the diesel heater using the app. Just push the power off. Now let's check and see how much energy we used overnight. We'll go to the Lit Time app. So there's 67% battery remaining. That is equal to 93.8 amp hours of remaining battery life. And I don't remember what the number was last night, so I'll put the total consumption on the screen for you to see. Come on, Juniper. Here you go, baby. You know, after being so warm all night in the camper, it actually feels good to be outside in some cool, brisk air. Life is all about the contrasts, you know? It makes you appreciate things. Simple things like heat and cool. And I always love that about camping. You have to work a little bit to get comfortable, and it makes you appreciate things. It's that simple.
Every time I think about campers eating instant oatmeal for breakfast, it makes me sad.
Thanks, Luke. I would really like to thank all the people on the screen who bought Juniper a treat through buymeacoffee.com. That's a great way to support the channel without a subscription, and it allows me to make little upgrades as I'm going along, like this fire pit. This was a huge success. Juniper, here's your treat. Sit. There you go. That's from all of them. Good girl. Cheese is her favorite. This is smoked Gouda. Is this Gouda? Yes, it is. Anyway, thank you again, and we really do appreciate it. I mentioned before that this campground is really special to me for a specific reason. And that is because this very spot where I'm camping right now is a spot that changed the course of my life. Almost 3 years ago in February, I think it was early February, I published a video of me camping here in extreme cold temperatures. It was 0 degrees Fahrenheit. To me, that's extremely cold. To some, it isn't. I realize that. But in any case, I decided to film that video on a whim that day. I had worked that day very similarly to how I worked on this trip, and just decided at the last minute, I have enough time, it's going to be very cold, so why don't I go out for fun and just test out the camper and see how it does. And that video blew up. I couldn't believe it. I honestly didn't try very hard, and I just went out for fun and filmed the video and threw it on YouTube to see what happens. That video allowed my channel to become monetized, and when I started to see just a little bit of money, I thought, wow, maybe these videos can help pay for my hobby of camping. So I decided to keep going, and it has grown and grown to now, 3 years later, we're at over 30,000 subscribers, approaching 31,000 as of the making of this video. And today is December 7th, 2025. So I want to give all the viewers of the channel a very sincere thank you from the bottom of my heart. I went from doing this from a hobby to now wanting to pursue doing it full time, and I have you to thank for it. I want to thank everybody who supported the channel on buymeacoffee.com, the Patreon subscribers, of course. Your generous contributions are always very, very appreciated. And if you want to consider helping the channel on Patreon, head to the link in the description below, buymeacoffee.com as well, and I will see you nowhere soon. Thank you very much. Peace, everybody.